Good morning, Gold Creek. My name is Jeremy. I'm the music director and youth worship pastor here, and I'm with my friend Jacob.
Hey there, I'm Jacob. I'm a creative director here at Gold Creek. I do a lot of the video stuff, production stuff here. So if you're watching online or here on a Sunday, that's kind of my realm.
Yeah. Which begs the question, does that technically make you like my boss being the creative director?
No, that's
I'm
Pablo.
still not sure.
All of you know
Okay.
Pablo.
Yeah. I'm
That's
still
good.
trying to figure out who my actual boss is. It's not clear as Pablo stares at me from the corner. Anyway, today's day 83. That's
Yes,
awesome.
it is. Congratulations, we are there.
You're almost at 100. You're
Close.
what, 2.5 weeks away from 100. That's crazy.
Keep going.
That's awesome. It's March 24th.
Deuteronomy.
Yeah. Anything stick out to you?
Oh, yes. So I thought this was really interesting. And it never stuck out to me before until now. But in Deuteronomy 2, verse 2, it says, "Then at last the Lord said to me, you have been wandering around in this hill country long enough. Turn to the north." And that got me thinking for a second. I'm like, they've been wandering for so long. Why all of a sudden was it just like, oh, now it's been long enough. Now you guys go this direction, and we've got a spot where you're going to settle down. My thought is, over the course of the time that they've been wandering, God has been getting this place ready for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was super interesting that all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay, now it's been long enough.
Right.
We're going to go to the north, and then you'll be able to settle.
Yeah. I kind of think it's fun to think about it as if God's like watching the Israelites on TV. And he's like, all right, this season's getting boring. Let's go on to the next season where
Like
they
a
finally
reality
get to the land.
TV
Yeah.
show.
He's like, okay,
pretty
they're
funny.
getting kind of annoying just wandering. So
Yeah.
let's give them a place to live.
Let's close this season out.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
the
that's good.
next verse stuck out to me, Deuteronomy 2:4.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "And command the people you are about to pass through the territory of your brothers, the people of Esau, who live in Seir, and they will be afraid of you. So be very careful. Do not contend with them, for I will not give you any of their land. No, not so much as the sole of the foot to tread on, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau as a possession."
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. Like the Israelites had a name for themselves at this point, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. They've been wandering for a while, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of them.
there's been a lot of war and stuff too.
Yep.
Like people know that God's on their side, and so the people of Esau are like, they're kind of scared. They're like,
I would be too.
These Israelites,
Gonna
they might
lie.
murder us. And so
Yeah.
God's basically like, yeah, don't be mean to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys have their land that was
Totally.
given to them. This is like their promised land. You have yours. You know, be nice to them. If you're gonna take food or anything, you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, like don't take any advantage of them. It's kind of cool. He's like kind of teaching the Israelites like, hey, it's okay to like have neighbors that are friendly, you know?
Yeah. Everybody needs a good
Like
friendly
a
neighbor.
good neighbor.
Stop. Yeah.
The Israelites are there.
To a lot of people, it probably wasn't the best.
No, I don't think so.
That's funny. Did anything stick out to you in Deuteronomy 3?
Not really. Nothing like in specific. Because it's just a lot of like victory, you know, and God helping the Israelites to take the things that they need to move on.
Which is kind of speaks to what we were just talking about a second ago of people knew that God was on their side because of things like this, like victory after victory as they
Yeah.
were just moving across the land until they were finally able to find a spot to.
Yeah, I feel
Settle.
like, you know, all the refugees from the lands that they took would be running the opposite direction naturally where they're heading. And then they get to, you know, Mount Seir with the people of Esau, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, you got to watch out for these guys. Like, they're going to wreck you. And everyone's like, oh, crap. Oh, no, we're in trouble. They're coming this way.
Yeah, it's crazy how much of a reputation they built, and you get just little snippets of that through scripture like
Yeah.
this, which is kind of cool.
And it's never like specifically said, really. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like,
It's almost
surprise.
implied.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. What about Luke?
Luke chapter 6, verse 17 and 19
Okay.
is what stuck out to me the most. It says, "And he came down with them and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea and Jerusalem and the sea coasts of Tyre and Sidon, who came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured, and all the crowd sought to touch him, for the power of him had helped heal them."
Wow.
So like Jesus is doing great miracles.
All the time.
But what stuck out most to me is people were coming from Tyre and Sidon as far as Jerusalem. And I was like, where is Tyre? Where is Sidon?
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of that before.
Sure.
looked it up on a map, and it's like 250 miles away. If you were to drive a car, it would take 7 hours, which kind of makes me think like, when you go to a concert and every time it's the stupidest thing they do at every concert you go to. They're like, who drove the furthest to see us, huh? And someone's like, I drove 3 hours. And they're like, yeah, have a free CD. And it's like, you drove 3 hours. Like that's not that long.
These guys, and the specific thing is driving took 7 hours. Now imagine walking on, there's no paved roads really. It's, you're talking uneven land with.
There's a mountain in the way too.
Yeah. So you're talking a week at minimum to get there.
Google Maps says 3.5 days walking, and I'm sure that means no stops.
Yeah, that's just crazy. So props to them.
Yeah, and props to the kids who were on the back of the donkey, for surviving that.
Imagine.
Like, Mom, are we there yet?
Family road trips are already fun enough without, being out in the blazing sun and taking a week. One thing that stuck out to me that I thought was really interesting that did not click until I read it this time, but it was the very beginning of Luke 6. It says, one day soon afterward, Jesus went up on a mountain to pray, and he prayed to God all night. At daybreak, he called together all of his disciples and chose 12 of them to be apostles. What I didn't realize is I'm so used to calling them the 12 disciples, when in reality, he had a ton of disciples, it sounds like, and he chose 12 to be apostles. Now, what's super funny to me is how much of a bummer would it have been to not been chosen
right?
to be on the inner circle.
Even though you only picked 12 out of probably hundreds, it still would be like,
I know.
Why can't you pick me?
Yeah. It's like, I don't even know. I just
it's the
couldn't
kid
imagine.
on the playground who gets picked last.
But it's Jesus's team. Anyways, it's just so interesting that I'm always so used to just hearing 12 disciples, but in reality it was 12 apostles, and he chose from all of the people that were following him.
Well, and we hear it in different ways. Like in Matthew, it spreads it out and talks about, this is how he found these apostles, and this is how he found those. And so it's not like it was just like an instant, everyone was there and he's like, surprise, you 12 are mine.
Yeah. It was over a long period of time for sure.
Over the course of his ministry, but just putting in perspective all of like the followers he had already when he was just picking his 12 and finding them, and
No, it's good.
It's cool to see that like Jesus's following was huge from the start.
Yeah,
it's not
crazy.
like the 12 apostles helped her, build the crowd or anything.
Right.
They just got picked to hang out.
Yeah, no, it's good. What about Psalms?
The first verse stuck out to me. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face shine upon us.
That's good.
It's this nice, peaceful verse. It's, it makes me feel peaceful on the inside, right?
Yeah.
When I read it, like knowing that God's watching over us, he's caring for us.
It's almost like a prayer that you would say kind of
it
when you start your day.
Yeah, it totally is. I think it actually is something that like the Catholic Church prays from time to time.
One thing that I really liked about this that you see on some of the Psalms is at the very top of this, it says for the choir director, a psalm to be accompanied by stringed instruments. It's a lot of the times when you're going through the Psalms, you're just thinking it's these thoughts that you're reading, but this one was specifically written to be music, which is kind of cool. And it kind of changes the way that you read it almost. So.
Oh yeah, totally. And there's a little note to the music director, me, right? Saying, hey, this is, for the choir and for strings. And, there's others that are like, this is for the choir and harps. This is for the choir and trumpets. And there's even a few that are like, this is for the choir and cymbals.
Yeah.
And I just imagine those have got to be intense psalms.
Very
right?
much so.
Like, cymbals are not quiet. And they didn't have dampening back then or anything. True. They were just loud. And so you're thinking like the choir is singing like, sing praise. And the cymbals are like, gang, 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 gang. And
yeah, dude, it's crazy. I just love that they specifically have some that are meant to be music, which is really cool.
Yeah, and there's like, I'm sure there's even more notes somewhere on them, on how they're supposed to be played and stuff too.
Yeah, no, it's good. Proverbs is fun. You want to read the Proverbs really quick?
Yeah, let me just.
Here, I got it right here.
Oh. It says, if you search for good, you'll find favor, but if you search for evil, it will find you.
Drop the mic on that. I mean, that's about as
self-explanatory.
straightforward.
Can I take this out and drop it?
Yeah, no, please don't. But I mean, Proverbs is so fun because a lot of the times they're really straightforward and it's really good, just bites of wisdom and knowledge that you can take and apply to your everyday. And this is, you know, if you search for good, you'll find favor. If not, evil will find you.
Doesn't take a lot of thought to catch on to that one.
Yeah. No,
And there are some that do take a lot of thought. You got to think about it a bit more and dig into it.
No, it's good.
But luckily, we got an easy one today.
Yeah, there we go. Cool.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great day.
See ya.